I just had therapy this morning and we're working on how to deal with my ADHD and autism that I just figured out that I have. And there's some really sensitive topics that I find quite disturbing. I actually felt like crying during this therapy session because it was so much to go through. Basically, I've always felt like I had no choice, which I guess is a very common experience among autistic girls that are very good at masking. Perhaps you've heard of the term Manic, Pixie, dream girl. We manage to be exactly what someone else wants us to be, and we completely disregard our own needs and our own personality. And then one day we wake up and we don't know who we are, we don't know how to live our life, we are an anxious mess and nothing's working. I was never allowed to have any choice as a kid. I was quite shy and I didn't want to go to any school events or excursions or whatever. My mom forced me to go to these. I was begging her, pleading with her not to go. I was physically unwell, mentally unwell, everything you can think of, and nothing ever worked. She always forced me to go to these where I was bullied and I was struggling immensely. And I have a lot of these experiences where I was forced to do things that I didn't want to do. And no one asked me what I wanted to do or how I wanted to spend my time or what I wanted to eat or what I wanted to dress like. It was always someone else that was deciding these things for me, and my own preferences didn't matter and no one cared about my wishes. Everyone thought that it was for my own good, that they were teaching me how to integrate in society or how to succeed in social relationships or whatever. It was actually doing quite the opposite thing for me because I just felt like I'm different and I'm never enough and I will always be a disappointment. I felt like an extreme disappointment all my life, and I felt like who I was never enough, never good enough, and I needed to change myself to please and appease others. Then I grew up. I was constantly like dreaming of the day I will be an adult and I will no longer have to do what I'm told and I can do my own thing. But it doesn't always work this way. When you're used your whole life to be what other people want you to be, you don't know who you are anymore. You don't know how to be yourself. You don't know who you want to be at all, and what you're fighting for, and what your dreams are, and what will make you happy or what will make you sad. Eventually, I started therapy. I started to know myself better, and who I am kind of started to be reborn and come to the surface again. But I still struggle with having a choice and being able to do what I want to do and not what other people want me to do. When it comes to trips, I've always had bad experiences with traveling because of how much I was forced to travel and go places that I didn't want to go when I was a kid. And I started developing a lot of panic attacks surrounding travel. And still, my mom, my boyfriend, everyone in my life constantly tried to explain to me how going these places is a good thing. They were pleading with me, they were guilting me, they were They thought that it was for my own benefit, that they were doing me a favor. But it only made my anxiety worse, my panic attacks worse. And I struggled so much with feeling that I disappoint others. I disappoint people that I love, and I let them down. That this is perhaps the moment that I felt most like I didn't want to be here anymore. I have a lot of hard feelings surrounding this. I have a lot of guilt, a lot of self-doubt. I struggle with this a lot to this day. I'm now much better at saying, oh, I want to do something for myself when it only affects me. But the second it starts to affect somebody else, this is when it gets so bad for me. I just give in. I completely disregard my own needs, my own wishes, and I start to appease others and do what's best for them and not what's best for me. So we're currently working on therapy and kind of clearing this up, and me not feeling such intense guilt and intense responsibility for other people's emotions, feelings, and happiness. My therapist told me that it is their job to deal with their own emotions. They were basically kind of projecting their own emotions onto me, like making me feel bad that I couldn't do what they wanted of me. What came to me today after the therapy was actually that, for example, if we were to go somewhere and there was a flight cancellation because of bad weather or something else, and we couldn't go on holiday, the people that I'm going with, they would be disappointed, but they wouldn't be disappointed in me, and they would not be able to blame me. So I have to accept that me needing to cancel something is exactly the same as the airline company needing to cancel a flight. It is outside of my control. It is what I need at this day, time, whatever. I'm unwell. I'm struggling mentally, physically, whatever, and I need to cancel. And that's it. There is nothing more to like talk about or plead or discuss or anything, because I'm a human being. I have my own needs. I have my own problems. And if someone really loves me, they're going to accept this about me, and they're going to help me get through it and not just make it worse for myself. If you struggle from the same, I would say that next time you feel extremely guilty that you have to cancel plan or trip or whatever, just think of it as bad weather. Something that's outside of your control, because your own health and how you feel sometimes is outside of your control. Sometimes it's bigger than you. Sometimes you cannot do anything about how you feel. So just think of it as if it's an act of God, and there is nothing that you can do to change it. That's it. Simple as that. You're not guilty for needing your own needs be met. This is essential for your survival. Remember that.